What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for a live show. Um, it's been a while since I've done a live show that doesn't involve a post game or pre game. So we're gonna talk about the last 2 days basically, and a bit about Napoli as well. With me is Malik. How are you
Hello,
doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm always good. At this
That's
moment,
all.
I'm good. I'm better than last season. I will tell you that.
Yeah, I think
Because
we all know.
like last season, I it was like, I need to make a video. I did it, but it was like automatic. It was just I came on, flipped on the camera, recorded it, put it out there, and I was like, "Yeah, this is crap." like, like at this moment in time, I actually do enjoy doing that again. So I think that's the good part of it. However, today's news is not that great, I guess. Or like it's kind of old news. Maybe it's coming from so many sources the last, I don't know, 2 3 days, that it's becoming more reality, I think. And it's Junior. I think that's a big one. Like the topic is the project, and if it's actually a real project, if you want to call it. But let's start off with Junior first, because he is rumored to leave, and I don't think, or me personally, I didn't need the rumors. I think that was very obvious at this moment in time. Like, he's not playing, and it makes no sense. He has a contract until 25. Like, it was just all setting up for him to leave, and now the news is piling on. It's gonna be around 20 million that the club wants for him, and Tottenham are leading the race. So, what do you make of? Forget about the price tag, just the situation involving Junior right now and him potentially leaving in January.
It's a shame because I think everybody knows how much I value him. So, no, I'm disappointed because I would have liked to see him get more minutes. He's genuinely good enough to play, and yeah, it just feels like another Coman 2.2.0, but this time it
Oh,
feels different. I saw a lot of people comparing him leaving to Coman leaving 8 years ago.
yeah. I mean, and actually, it was for the same reasons, by the way. The
Yeah,
Coman one,
exactly.
like they dressed it up. Oh, he didn't want to be here. Okay, fine, but like it was one season, and the club saw the opportunity. Like plus Valenza, clear one. It was like 30 million, 28 million at the time. I think it was.
Yeah, I think 25 million, so
Yeah,
around a similar figure.
similar figures. Like, and it was just an opportunity the club was, and like now imagine the situation we're in now. What is the club thinking now? Basically, I think that's, if we were in a healthy situation and Junior was like, I want to leave in January, I think the club was like, you know what, maybe not. However, the situation is different. Um,
Mm.
it's like it's sad. Like, I think it's more frustrating. Like, I'm frustrated with the situation because I've not seen enough, and what I have seen looked good, and that's why I'm frustrated. Like, I'm like, I've seen good things, but I've seen it, a few minutes here, a few minutes there. It's not enough. Like, it's just, that's my biggest issue. Like, it's not enough, and that's what's really bothering me at this moment in time. That it's not enough, and I don't know. Like, he can turn out to be just a mid footballer, playing for Crystal Palace, if that makes sense. But we
Mm.
don't know that, and that's the frustrating part. I'm
Yeah,
actually pissed.
we never really got a chance to judge Illing because well, we've only seen brief cameos of like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and as you said, they were good cameos, which is why it's all the more annoying that he's likely to leave. It feels like, you're familiar with the concept of fear of missing out, FOMO. This kind of feels like it.
I I I fully agree. Um, oh, the title is not correct. It's not transfer extra. Well, actually, maybe it is, but let me flip it. The It's also not the 6th of December, but um, and what's adding to the frustration is that it's not that who's playing ahead of him is lighting the world on fire, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not
Mhm.
that the guy playing ahead of him, you're like, what are you gonna do, Junior? It's just, we play once a week. The guy playing in front of you is just, tearing it up, amazing. Like,
Mm.
that's not the case. I know Kostic, his contribution, but it's so minimal that like it's so few times that his contribution is obvious this season so far that I think everybody is sitting here, and even people defending Allegri are like, this is a bit strange. Like, why? Like, it's not possible that he's not getting enough minutes or more minutes because it's not that Kostic. We come out. How many times have we come out of a game and we were like, you know what, Kostic, he was fantastic today. Like, I cannot remember that this season, if I'm being honest. Even when he had the assist against Torino, I didn't came out of that game. I'm like, yeah, Kostic, that was it. I just don't have that feeling, and that's what's adding to the frustration even more, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Like the only time I could remember coming out of a game saying, "Wow, Kostic, wow, that was amazing," was Inter last season, the home
Yeah.
game. But other than that, yeah, it's nothing. And as you said, that's what makes it more frustrating, especially considering the fact at the start of the season I was under the impression Kostic was going to leave,
Same.
and the left side was going to be Cambiaso and Illing, and I thought that was a beautiful mix. But Kostic never ended up leaving,
I
so
I think that was the idea, or that was what we like. The first game, like he came on, Junior came on, and um, I think the idea of us, like the way we wanted to play, was also moving into that direction. And then Sassuolo happened. I think we need to talk about that more, or it's being brushed under the carpet a bit too much. Like we tried to do something different up to the Sassuolo game, even the Sassuolo game maybe, and then that happened, and Allegri basically said, "You know what, enough." But that Sassuolo game was weird because we scored two own goals basically in that game,
yeah,
and we were just extremely sloppy in that game. Technically that was a very poor bad game. I don't think it was a game that we lost because we were set up wide open. I don't think that's the reason we lost. Like we handed them the lead and then we helped them a bit more and more. I think that was the reason. It wasn't because we tried to play some different type of play because it wasn't that we were wide open, but the change after Sassuolo so drastically that there's no room for Junior, in the mindset of Allegri because defensively, yeah, Kostic is probably better. He is. However, he doesn't really offer a lot going forward if it's not set pieces, basically, at this moment in time. Not even the crosses are really coming off. So I don't get it. I really don't get it. Besides, the obvious thing is Plus Valenza. It is. That's the only thing that makes sense at this moment in time. Like, it's clear, fresh, clean money for the club, basically. That's what it is.
and you know how I see this panning out? Like eventually, at some point, we're gonna stop using the 3-5-2, and we're gonna one day we'll stop using the 3-5-2 and go to a formation with wingers, let's say, and Illing is gonna be tearing it up wherever he is, and we're gonna be like, oh, could have been him.
Yeah, I potentially because surely this is not planned moving forward if Allegri is going to say, because if that's the case then well, it's not going to be good for people's mental health. I will tell you that, because if you win, it's all good, it's all fun and games. But if you don't even pair this to winning, then what is the point, really? It's suffering for suffering, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now the price tag, 20 million. It's Tottenham, so they're gonna fleece us again, like they did for Kulusevski for some reason when we already agreed deals with him. They they they
Yeah.
they took us to the cleaners. Yeah, it's a few millions, but like we had an agreement. So I'm assuming it's not gonna be 20 million. I'm gonna assume it's gonna be around 50 million, maybe with a few bonuses. Is that okay for you, or you know,
Well, no, because I feel like in the future his value is gonna be higher, and you see these Premier League clubs dishing out ridiculous money for a lot of players who are practically nobodies as well.
they
And
play they paid. I think maybe I'm lying, but I'm pretty sure it was at least 50 million pounds for Brandon Johnson. Is it? I think
yeah, some 40 million, 50 million, something like that.
it
Yeah.
was something crazy, and I needed to look up who that player was. Like, I'm not gonna lie, and he's not good. Yes, he had an impact against City, but from what he has shown, well, that's not 50 million at all. Like it's not even close to 50 million. So it's a Premier League club, and even if it's Tottenham, they're desperate because they don't have a great squad. I think everybody knows that, and on top of that, they have a lot of injuries. So you need to take advantage of that. Even, and it's weird because I don't want to sell Junior, but like I think 50 million or something is not good enough. It's a Premier League club. They do the weird stuff. You should be getting close to 25 million for him if it's for
Yeah.
Premier League close.
I'd take 25 to 30 for him, but anything below, I feel like we're being finessed again.
I have that same feeling, and I think it's I think it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna make it all even worse. That feeling that like was it like yes, it's clean money, but like let's say it's 70 million. It's like was it really needed? Couldn't you just
Yeah.
write it out until the summer and try to move on the older guys? And yes, it's not the Plus Valenza thing, whatever, but I think in the summer somebody big is also gonna leave. Anyway, so um, it's just extremely sad. It's really really sad because I cannot really remember a game where Junior came on and I was like, ugh, that was pointless. Every time he comes on, I'm like, it had a purpose. He had an
Yeah, it
impact.
has
Even
excitement
even
to it.
even if it wasn't a goal and assist, just the change in the way we play or the way we actually hold on the play, with the way we move possession, all those things. Arsenal score at the final whistle. Um,
Oh,
However, that's weird. It's not like you're bringing on Bernadeschi, and he comes on and you sit there and you're like, why, like why, like, and you know what's even worse? If we move on Junior and we sign Bernadeschi on a free, I might actually take a week off because this channel will get taken down. It will get taken down if that happened. You know, I cannot take when I saw
no.
that Bernardeschi talked on a Sunday show in Italy. I read the quotes. I was like, probably, misquoted. So I rewinded the show. He really said it. I'm still hoping. I'm like, how? Like, how?
And
like, how
the
is
thing
this
is,
being.
Bernardeschi came out and did an interview saying, "Oh, if you've ever called me, I'm gonna be there."
Yeah, I'm
And
like,
stuff. Like Douglas Costa. Why? Why? We don't need these guys, man.
no, the moment that happened, I need a very good source to come out and say that the club is not even thinking about it. Like, that's what I need. The fact that it's not happening is actually scaring me. It really is scaring me because it's not, oh, it's a cheap loan and what else? He's crap. He is one of those players playing at the club or has played for the club, and I have no idea what the last couple of years were of him. Like he was there just to be there. Like he was just there to be there, and I was like, how is it even a conversation that he could potentially come? He's not gonna help anything. Like, he's he's not better than what we already have, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah,
what is the point? Same when I read news about, oh, we're looking at him because he can back up Locatelli. We don't need that now. We don't need that. You have Nicolucci to quote unquote back up. Like Locatelli is gonna, if he's fit, he's gonna play week in week out. We play once a week, so we don't need backups. You need somebody to come in and add something you don't have in that squad in January, basically. That's not Bernardeschi. It's Douglas on a technical level, but I will be a hypocrite for saying, oh, I will make an exception for Douglas. I don't want old players back. I've always said it. But at least, on a technical level, even if you give him 30 minutes every single week or 20 minutes, he's probably going to make the difference in certain games. Bernardeschi's not going to do that. Like, it's just not. And when I talk about impact players, and hear me out, I think the name of Berardi will be a hot topic in January.
his name has been around for a while now.
But I think it will really be pushed. I have a weird feeling that in a couple of days we will start hearing very leaks from very good sources about what it's back on, and Sassuolo are willing to work on a transfer even in January, but they want this, this, and this, and this. I really have a feeling that the club is going into this direction uh, in January, because I think in midfield we're lacking obvious things, right?
Mm.
But on the right hand side, it's even more obvious, if that makes sense. Because I keep forgetting where our plays for us. To be honest, I like we've not seen anything from him. McKennie, for all the hard work he does there, it's not what it needs to be in those positions really. De Chilio, I don't count him. Cambiaso, fine, I get it, but we're lacking obvious stuff on that part of the on the pitch. And I know it's 3-5-2. I get it, but for him, I do think Allegri will switch it up a little bit. I really do. And I don't know. It's a weird feeling I have. Do like if the club comes out and they bring in Berardi in January, are you going, okay, now this is gonna be the difference of second place, or we're gonna really push for that title until the end of the season? Because I have a weird feeling if he comes in, and I don't want him, by the way. I just don't want to go into that direction. He will score 8, 9 goals from that moment until the end of the season.
Berardi is a very interesting topic. And I feel like if he were to be signed, that means 3-5-2 is out the window. Surely. Unless he plays as a striker next to one of the actual strikers like Chiesa is doing now. But that would mean Chiesa's out of the team, which doesn't make any sense. So this could be a change into a 3-4-3, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. I don't know.
Yeah, you need to switch it up,
Yeah,
obviously. But I
exactly.
think that's the one player they will switch it up for a little bit.
Yeah, and yeah, of all people, Berardi.
Yeah, because like, if you just look at the rumors and you read the rumors, it's all loan deals, whatever. I don't think the club is gonna bring in Sancho and they're gonna change formation for 6 months. So that rumor is, I don't get that rumor. I'm not gonna lie. I just kind of think you can throw that out of the window, because it doesn't add up for me, basically. Um, that's that one. Then also, if you look at the other rumors, Samarcic, I don't think that's gonna happen in January. I don't see that happening. Turam, like Phillips, it's all loan deals. Like Phillips is gonna be a backup, or are you gonna play Rabiot, Locatelli, Phillips? That's weird, And yes, you can say he's playing McKennie now, but surely it needs to be Miretti, and Miretti needs to up his game as well. But you need something different. You cannot play Rabiot, Locatelli, Phillips, because like like that
That doesn't
that
add
front
anything.
line is gonna be pissed as hell. Like it's gonna be pissed, because that's not it. Like it's not it. So those are the links now, and that's about it. Yes, you have some youngsters thrown out there, but Allegri's not playing the youngsters we have in our team already. Now imagine him playing a guy coming from the Bulgarian league. I was saying something like it's just not gonna happen. Like, it's just absolutely not gonna happen. So the only rumor, if you really think about it, from all the transfer news that's coming through now, the only rumor that really makes sense is Berardi. Not even the poll thing, all those things, it doesn't really make sense. It feels like we're trying to fill up the paper for the next day. The only one that really makes sense is Berardi. Why? Because of what happened in the summer. Like it was clear, like it was just Cannavale basically told everything. The only thing missing was him showing the text messages between him and Juntali. So everybody knows it was a real thing, and I really
Yeah.
think it's gonna be a real thing in January again. I do believe that.
But you know what worries me about the idea of getting Berardi is that what happens with Sule when he comes back?
I I said that yesterday when I was listening to Juntali. I was like, oh. When I see Mirko and Italy saying they're not entertaining offers in January, and then you have Juntuli saying, I hope he can play for us. I'm like, hope? Like, he's your player. Like, there's no need to hope. Like, you bring him back and he plays. Like, there's no hope. Like, you own, yeah, like, it's your player. Next season, you bring him back and you play him. Like, there's no hope. Like, he wants to come back. He set that up and openly, like, I want to come back. So the choice of words, and maybe I'm reading into it too much, but like it's too much. Like sources using certain words, Juntali using certain words. I don't think it's a given. Sule is coming back and playing for us. Do you think that's a given next summer?
No, 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 no. Because there's always been rumors of him getting sold,
Yeah.
even when before we sent him out on loan, how willing we were to sell him. My my fear is that him playing the way he is right now is going to up his value significantly more, which means we could sell him for higher. And just signing Berardi doesn't leave Sule with much room to work with because they play the same position. So
Yeah.
what's the point? And I'm sure if Berardi comes, he's gonna be on higher wages. So
Well,
yeah,
obviously, like
yeah, exactly.
he's on almost four at Sassuolo. I think people
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be on like 4 or 5.
he's already
It's
on
gonna be
four at
one of the
Sassuolo.
highest.
3.5 plus bonus. I think people don't know that, but like that, like he is on that big money at Sassuolo. He's the only player. Like if you look at the rest, you're like, what happened? Like it's a complete drop off. But that's why I don't like that signing. I don't like the mindset. Basically, I'm not a big fan of the mindset he had always shown. But on that Sule thing, and the topic of the show is the project already over, or is a project we're gonna develop them and they are gonna help us, cheap players we got on the cheap, they're gonna help us bring up and we're gonna add quality to it, or is a project they're gonna help us but financially, not really on the pitch. If somebody makes it, good. What do you think is happening? Because if you sit back and you really look at it, we talk about Sule, but he's not doing that for us. But in Nichea, not doing it for us. Fajoli, okay, he's out. Miretti played half the minutes of the available minutes this season. Junior, well, that's obvious.
Mhm.
Yildiz and Hoyson, it's a buzz, all that talk, but they're not contributing. So, what is this project really about at this moment in time?
Yeah, it's a confusing one because I don't know. It could be the fact that we only have one game a week and Allegri isn't willing to start these youngsters, but they're not getting minutes whatsoever. So
I think it's I'm leaning towards like it's helping the team out financially. I
mhm.
really, uh, I'm not like the rumors about yield is like if a big offer comes in 40 million, then yeah, you don't need to tell me the club is gonna accept, but nobody's gonna bid 40 million for yield is. That's just not gonna happen.
Mhm.
But I'm looking at this U project, and I'm not convinced, not by the players' qualities. I'm convinced by the potential these players have. And again, you don't know if it's gonna work, if it's not gonna work out. You never know. But the way things are going now, we will probably never know as well because they're not playing. And I'm not saying play play Napoli, and I want to see Junior, Yildiz, Hoysen, Miretti. I'm not saying that, by the way. That's not what I'm saying. But they're not featuring. They're not getting at any minutes. When I look at that front line, I'm like, I know why they're struggling, but individually they're also not playing well. I'm like, why is Yildiz not getting a crack at it? Like, why is he not getting a few more minutes here and there, 50 minutes, whatever? Do we really need to be 3-0 up? Because if that's the case, well, he's only
Yeah, that's not.
gonna get minutes two times maybe this season. Like, that can also not be the case. You can come out and talk all rosy about them. Oh, his first touch and all this. And I'm like, I don't see it. Like, you can tell me that. I don't see it. And if you tell me that, then why are you not giving him minutes? Basically, I I think it's frustrating, because it's all a buzz. But if you just sit back and think about it, it's a buzz based on quotes and articles and little clips, but it's not based on what are they actually producing out there. Even the Alexandro thing, like he's gone next season 100%, and he gets straight back into the lineup. I'm like, there's really no need to do that. These players he's not going to be here next season. So, and he's not really better than what we have, if you know what I mean. So I don't know, man. I'm very very skeptical about it at this moment in time. I really am.
Yeah, it does sound iffy because if you think about it, any sort of transfer of these players is an instant plus Valencia. So
It is
on
for all
any
of
one
them.
of them. Yeah,
Yeah, for all of them, and for some even like 100% clean.
yeah,
Like there was not even a little transfer fee involved, like Gildes and Junior and Hoysen. Like some players are just clean. Like Miretti, I don't think they're gonna sell Miretti, but it's like it's gonna be a much bigger conversation if we move into the fall next season and we start dropping off a little bit potentially, and they're still getting no chances. And I think a lot of people will turn their heads and like when they're ignoring it now because we're winning, and they're like, okay, what's up here? Because you tell us about this project and about all these players, but we're not seeing them. So what is actually the plan? Also, the value is not going up. So like Junior has a value because he's English and the Premier League teams are looking at him. That's basically why his value is what it is. Because let's say he wasn't English. Let's say he was Dutch. We would be talking about 6 million offers, not 20.
yeah.
If we're being honest, that would have been the case as well. Because what are you bidding on? Like potential, maybe, because there's no sample size for these players. So I don't know. I I'm very skeptical about this project. What the plan really is at this moment in time, because I cannot see it. I can really not see it.
Time will tell, I guess.
Even playing one game a week, fine, but like Kostic just playing week in, week out, and it's not looking very good. If I'm being completely honest, so tell me why. I'm still waiting for journalists to come out and ask Allegri straightforward, why is Junior not getting significant minutes based on what he did last season? And if Allegri says, "Oh, we play once a week," and there will be time, they need to challenge him and say, "You played a third of the season. When is that time coming?" Because if you play once a week, like he's contradicting himself, then when is that time coming? Because he said in the last presser, post game, he said, "We play once a week, so it's tough." And then he went on, and at the end he said, "But there will be time for these players." No, he said it's tough to make a lot of subs, and then he ends it with, "But there will be time for Nicolucci Jr." I'm like, no,
When?
because you just told me there's no time. There's no time. Like Junior, is he actually that scared that his entire idea or whatever is gonna fall apart if he plays Junior at home against, name it, you know,
Genoa
Lecce?
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like is he really that fearful? Like like is it all standing and potentially falling based on Kostic? Like is he the foundation of whatever we're trying to do out there? Like that cannot be, because I don't see it. Like I just
Yeah.
don't see it. So the foundation is defend with 11 men really hard. That's the foundation. Like it's not one player. If I need to if I ask you now, who's your MVP this far this season? Who are you gonna like? Who is it and why?
Who is it? I guess McKenny, but that says so much.
Like a lot of people will say McKenny. I would say Bremer, potentially.
Yeah. McKenny, Bremer, to some degree, Rabiot.
Yeah, but like, and when I look at like when I sit back, I'm like, where was that standout performance again? And what was
Yeah.
it based on? It was hard work. It was getting in there. I'm like, but quality wise, not really, right? Like
Mhm.
when I think about this team, like when you ask me who's your best, like who's your MVP, I should be going. It's Chiesa. It's Chiesa, but it isn't. It
Yeah.
isn't. I say Bremer, you say McKenny, but it's like, let me think about it. Like it's not obvious, and we're 1/3 of the games into the season, basically. That's why I'm like, it's not based on one player. This is really a group thing, and is it really that heavily planned or like planned into such details that Kostic is that
The
guy?
make it or break it, yeah.
Like I don't see it. I think if you ask Kostic, he's like he will be shocked. Me, like he will say me, and I don't think so. It's unbelievable. Um, Sam is saying Surikov will be the best signing in my opinion. Um, who reported something on Surikov today? I forgot. Um, who was it?
I've heard his name a lot on Twitter. Honestly, I haven't watched him,
Oh no, it
but
was Daniele Longo yesterday saying that the club wants him, but like it's 30 million now, and they want even more. Like I don't think like if you don't buy him in January, it's done. He's not coming your way. I don't think we have the money for it. So I like what I've seen from him. Again, not big sample sizes, but I did like what I've seen from him. Uh, always agree with you. 100% on everything. The youth are good, but they don't get minutes. Why? But players like Bernard Bernardeschi, I think, used to get minutes just because if Ealing is worse than Kostic, why did he play last? I don't think he's worse than Kostic. I think Allegri just rates what Kostic offers off the ball, in my opinion. I think that's the only reason I can come up with. And even that one, I've not seen enough to say, you know what? He's right. Junior's off the ball ability is really poor. I've not seen good enough. Like, I've not seen enough. Like, he did well against Sevilla when he played wing back, but actually was playing left back in that game, in that first half. And then he subbed them off as well. Like, that was also the crazy part. He subbed them off, and I was like, he wasn't playing bad. Like, he was playing a clean game. So, I don't know. Our MVP this year is playing for Frosinone, potentially.
yeah,
But
it's like um,
when you say that, people say, "Oh, less pressure at Frosinone." I'm like, no, he can play his natural
he's
position,
just
and he can,
allowed to play at Frosinone.
And when things happen with kids, oh, it's North Macedonia, oh, it's Ukraine. I'm like, okay, how many excuses are we gonna make at this point? Like, how many are we gonna make? Like, there's always something, but you know what? Playing players in their natural positions, that's a big step forward in my opinion. And if they fail, then well, you start looking at the player. But I find it tough to look at Chiesa and say, oh, you're not having an impact. Yes, he should be having more of an impact, but he's not a second striker. Like he's just not. Like he's not. And I find it very difficult to say, oh, it's all on you here. It's all on you. I really find it difficult. Even on Vlahovic, and he needs to play better. But when I look at Keane and Milik, it's not that when they come on and when we get goals, it's from set pieces as well. Like it's not that our play is better or that we start creating chances. Like it's basically the same thing. It's just a different name out there. It's not that the difference is so big that it's like, oh, it's the player. It's I don't know at this point. I really don't know at this point. But before we wrap it up, let's talk a little bit about Napoli because I will do my preview starting. What is it? Tuesday? Yeah. So starting tomorrow. Um, it's a big game. If Allegri is serious about his quotes about fifth place, you win, Napoli are done. You know they're not catching you. I think we're 9 points above them now.
Yeah, they're 24, we're 33. Yeah.
If you win, it's 12. Well, then I don't want to hear Allegri say Napoli can get back in the race. They can, because if they get back in the race when you're 12 points ahead, then that's on you. That's not on Napoli. Like, that's you messing up. That's not Napoli doing a fantastic job. So you can put them away, basically, on Friday. If they win 12 points, and I'm talking Allegri's mindset over here,
Mm-hmm.
but we need to start winning big games. Yes, we won against Milan, but I think that red card did help a lot in that game. We need to win. Do you think we're gonna win?
No.
Well, I actually don't as well. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
I,
lie.
know, I
I have a
can't see
weird
us.
feeling.
I hate to be a pessimist, but just when we play a big team and the way Napoli play, we're just gonna sit back so much and let Kvara and Osimhen and Zielinski and Lobotka just run the show.
I think you can absolutely do not. You cannot do that against Napoli.
Yeah, you can't, because Napoli can kill you like that.
Napoli are less structured than Inter, in my opinion. Going forward as well, it's less predictable, but they do have quality. The flip side is, defensively, they're wide open. Like
Yeah,
they're all over the place, and even if they don't
this season
concede,
especially. Yeah.
even if I think they should have conceded more goals, they get away with a lot. they're wide open. That's the flip side. And I think at that point, I think you need to take advantage of that. Like sit back. Probably that's what we're gonna do. However, I don't think they have the ability like Inter to hold on to the ball that well. They will lose it. They will make mistakes. They're less disciplined. They're still finding their groove. Maybe some players like we won the title. We've done it. They look at the table, 15 points away from Inter. I'm just 11, whatever it is, and they're like, yeah, it's kind of done. Like it's
Yeah.
just damage control. We just need to get into the top four. We will probably make it within 30. Like that's the vibe I'm getting when I look at Napoli. Like it's very disjointed. Like first half against Inter, I was like, second half, I'm like, what happened to
Yeah,
you guys?
second half they collapsed. They looked good in the first half. I thought they were the better team, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And in the second half, I'm like, what just happened? And they have that a lot. They played Salernitana away from home. I watched that game. They won 2-0, but that was just a 0-0 game. And they got 2 goals. Like we a lot of the
Well,
time.
yeah,
So
just we're very used to that.
it's like, oh, you won. And I'm like, I cannot be like I've seen it. I've seen it a lot of time for us this season, but they do have a lot of issues. They're still finding their groove. We should win. It's at home. Like we play we played Inter at home. We play Napoli at home. We play Lazio at home. We will play Roma at home. You're gonna go away to these grounds at the end, like flip side.
Yeah,
So we need to
I'm
start
sick of
winning.
that.
You need to win those games. You really do because how poor Napoli are this season. I don't see us going to the Maradona and win. Like I don't see it. I even see us struggling against Lazio away from home. you know so you need to start winning these games at home, and I agree. I don't have a feeling we're gonna win. Like I have a weird feeling about that game for some reason. I was confident going into the Inter game. I'm not that confident going into the Napoli game, to be honest. And I will discuss that at length because I looked up some stats, and I did find some interesting one for Napoli, like I did for Monza, like really surprising stats. So you're like, oh, that's not really helping our case for a win. But that's for Thursday and Friday morning. So you don't think we're gonna win? So I will ask your prediction because you're probably not gonna come on again.
I'll go 1-1, I think.
1-1. Ugh. I hate that it's on a Friday as well because like
Yeah.
it's fun because the weekend is kind of off, but if they don't win, that weekend sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Like if we didn't score against Monza, my last weekend would have been shit.
I was pissed. Like when they
Yeah.
equalized, I couldn't believe it. Like I stared for like a minute to my screen. I'm like, why? Like why did that just happen? Then they scored, and my mood flipped because I made peace with who we are now. No, and even in my match reactions,
Yeah.
I'm less, critical because I know who we are. I know how we try to get wins, and it's just get the wins at least in that manner, and we did that. Um, but yeah, Friday games good fun, if we win because the following week we play again on Friday. Like, we
Yeah,
play again
it's
on
three
Friday.
Fridays in a row.
Yeah, and
Monza,
then
Napoli, and Genoa. Yeah.
the following week is at 12:30, the day before Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
So
against Frosinone and then Roma.
and then Roma, yeah. So tough month of December. We got 1 point, 1 win. So off to a okay start, I guess. Let's see if we can top it off or like improve on Friday
Hope so.
against Napoli. I think, yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna wrap this one up. Need to wake up in a couple of hours to go to work. Everybody in the chat, thanks for watching. Everybody who rewatched this, because I know it flipped the last year. People do rewatch it more than joining live, which is okay. Like the video if you are rewatching it. Subscribe if you're new. I'll be back live probably on Thursday, and the breakdown of the game is not gonna be until the live show until Monday, because I'm out Saturday and Sunday. I'm not at home, so it is what it is. Thanks, Malik, for joining on a
My
Wednesday,
pleasure.
Tuesday evening, almost Wednesday for me. Thanks everybody in the chat, and we will see you guys Thursday. Ciao.